The Price of Kneeling. Kaylin lived in a house where the wind whistled through the cracks in the walls, and the cupboards were often as empty as the promises of a better life. His parents worked their fingers to the bone, but the money they earned was a trickle against the flood of their needs. Kaylin was a proud boy with a spirit that refused to bend, even when his stomach ached with hunger. He swore he would find a way to lift his family from their struggle, a way that would not cost him his dignity. One day, as Kaylin walked through the wealthy part of town, he saw a boy named Alistair, sitting on a park bench, surrounded by his friends. Alistair was bored, and when he saw Kaylin, a cruel glint appeared in his eyes. He held up a handful of crisp bills. "I'll give you this," he said, "if you kneel before me." Just for a moment, Kaylin's pride flared, but the thought of his family's empty table was a cold, hard stone in his gut. Kaylin looked at the money, then at Alistair's expectant face. The world seemed to shrink to just the two of them. He took a deep breath, and with a slow, agonizing motion, he lowered himself to the ground. The gravel bit into his knees. He felt the weight of every hungry day, every worried glance from his parents, pressing down on him. He knelt, and Alistair laughed, tossing the money at his feet. Kaylin walked home with the money clutched in his hand, his knees stinging. When he showed his mother the money, her face crumpled. "Where did you get this?" she asked, her voice trembling. When he told her, she recoiled as if he had brought home a snake. "We don't need money that costs your soul," she whispered, tears welling in her eyes. Kaylin's friend, Reese, who had been waiting for him, heard the story and looked at him with a mix of pity and disgust. But the money bought food. It bought medicine for his father's cough. The next day, Kaylin went back, and the day after that, the kneeling became easier. The humiliation was still there, a dull ache beneath the surface, but it was buried under the relief of a full stomach and a warm house. He started to earn more, and the small comforts grew into luxuries. His parents' opinions began to change. The shame in their eyes was replaced by a quiet gratitude. They started to talk about the things they could finally buy, the debts they could pay off. They told Kaylin he was a good son, a provider. They justified his actions, saying it was a small price to pay for their well-being. Reese, however, could not be swayed. He saw the change in Kaylin, not just in his clothes or his full belly, but in his eyes. "You're not Kaylin anymore," he said one afternoon. "You're just a boy who kneels. You've traded your pride for a few coins, and you're losing yourself with every one you earn." Kaylin tried to argue, but the words felt hollow even to him. Over time, Kaylin's wealth grew. He no longer had to kneel for Alistair. He had found other, more subtle ways to earn money from the rich boy's whims. He had a nice house, fine clothes, and more food than he could eat. But he still felt the phantom ache in his knees, a constant reminder of how it all began. He was no longer a boy who knelt for money. He was a man who had built his life on that very act. His family was proud of him, celebrating his success. They had forgotten the shame and the tears. Reese, however, was gone. He had moved away, unable to watch his friend become a stranger. Kaylin was surrounded by his family, but he felt more alone than ever. They celebrated the money, but they had no idea what it had cost him. The moral of the story is this. Sometimes, the price of kneeling is not just the loss of your dignity, but the loss of the people who valued it more than any amount of money. The coins you gain can fill your pockets, but they can never fill the empty space left behind by the part of yourself you gave away.